Today's video is brought to you by CruiseLine.com and Shipmate app. Did you know you can research and book your excursions right in the Shipmate app? Click on Explore, choose your port, and browse excursions by destination. It's super simple to read reviews from real cruisers and book your activities right in the app. Hey cruisers, we're going old school today with an old-fashioned, good old Q&A vlog. It's been a long time, so we wanted to pop into your Tuesday and say hello and answer some subscriber questions. First up, wanted to thank everybody so much for supporting our other channel, Cruise Gear, during the month of June. Gearathon was awesome. We did 26 days of gear reveals and reviews and gave away a ton of prizes. So if you're not already subscribed over on that channel, go check it out. Also wanted to let you know our next live stream is this Saturday, July 7th, noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. We will see you there. Not sure what the topic is going to be yet, but we will be sure to let you know all over social media and on the community tab right here on YouTube, which just kind of shows up in your feed throughout the week. So follow along and we'll let you know. So let's get to some questions today. The first one is from Random Things, who asks, will it be extra if you want to order 2 main courses or 2 desserts for the main dining room? Random Things, this is one of the most popular questions we get here on Cruise Tips TV, and we have great news for you. Generally speaking, in the main dining room, you get to order whatever you want, however much you want, in whatever quantity you want. You will see people ordering 2 appetizers, 2 desserts, 2 lobster tails if your cruise line offers them. Sky's the limit, and do not be afraid to try different things. Generally speaking, the portions are small, so you have our permission and the permission of our community to order 2 of anything that you want. Go for it. Next question today comes from Maisha Perry, who is going on Norwegian Bliss in October to the Mexican Riviera and wants some ideas on the best excursions in the Mexican Riviera. So Maisha, we have spent a ton of time in the Mexican Riviera and we have tons of suggestions for you. So I could refer you to a bunch of our videos because we've been on Carnival Miracle, Carnival Splendor, Star Princess, you name it down there, we've done it. But I'm going to give you just my short list of a couple in each port that I think will be really fun. Not knowing a whole lot about your party or your preferences, I'll start with Cabo. So in Cabo, one of the best things that we ever did was a sailing adventure with Cabo Sailing. Super fun, just a few hours, a little bit of a long walk to get to the sailboat, but amazing, a totally good value and a lot of fun. Another great thing that people generally like to do in Cabo, if you've never been there before, is take a water taxi out to Land's End to see Lovers Beach and Divorce Beach and the sea lions and all that fun stuff, just to check it out. You can even do a glass bottom boat tour. But what we like to do in Cabo when we're just visiting and we don't want to spend a lot of money is we take a water taxi to Medano Beach. We just made a video a few weeks ago on how to get to Medano Beach, so you can check that out here on our channel. That's a really fun one. There are so many things to do in Cabo, from snorkeling to riding a camel on a beach to zip lining. There's many things you can do. In Puerto Vallarta, speaking of zip lining, one of our favorite things to do is to go zip lining with Los Veranos Canopy Tour. That is an amazing experience for the whole family and the whole crowd. But there's a lot of great excursions that you can do through the ship too. One of them is Las Caletas, which is a boat ride to a private beach for the day, where you get to have a wonderful meal, sit on the beach, hang out in the water, swing on hammocks. You can even get a massage there. It's amazing. Now, the same place holds an excursion called Rhythms of the Night. It's at the same location and the cruise line offers that. Those are great. If you're on a budget and you just want to take a taxi cab to the boardwalk in Puerto Vallarta, just ask to be taken to the Malecón and they'll take you to the boardwalk and you can walk there for the day. It's a gorgeous thing to do. One of the things we also like to do in Vallarta is go to a hotel and get a day pass. We like 2 hotels in particular. We like Now Amber and Hyatt Ziva. So if you have any questions about those, send me a message over on Facebook and I'll try to get you some more information. Now, Mazatlan's a little bit more tricky, because in Mazatlan, a lot of people sometimes stay on the ship. There is a ton to do. You could take an excursion through the ship to Stone Island or Deer Island, or you can do what we do and go to one of the many resorts and spend the day there. You have to do a little bit of research on that, but we like to go to the El Cid Marina Beach for the day. We do not get a day pass. We just show up at the hotel and we buy food and drink and they let us enjoy the pool. Make sure you check into that before you take my word for it, but those are some of our Mexican Riviera tips and tricks. Now, Rachel B1820 has a bunch of questions for us. So we're going to start with a couple of these. She missed the live stream that we had last weekend and wants to know, what happens if you miss the cruise ship while you're in port? Well, what would happen, Rachel? The short story is you would be responsible for getting yourself to the next port to meet the cruise ship. That's the short version. Your next question was, what happens if you lose something on board? If you lose something on board, you hope that someone turns it into customer service and that you can go to the front desk on the ship, just like you would at a hotel, and see if anyone has turned it in. We have lost things on a ship before. I've left my cell phone by a jacuzzi one time, and the bartender just picked it up, held it for me, and I walked over to the bar, and he happened to say, hey, I saw you in the hot tub earlier, and here's your cell phone. So it's different for every circumstance, but you would hope that someone turns it in. Your next question was, can your cruise be canceled due to hurricanes or bad weather? Yes, it can. But generally speaking, Rachel, they're more likely to be rescheduled than canceled. It's pretty rare for cruises to be canceled because of a hurricane, but usually what they will do, is not so much reschedule the cruise, but they will give you a different port itinerary. So when I said rescheduled, I didn't necessarily mean that. I meant that they would retool your itinerary. So instead of going to one port, you may go to another safe port so that the ship can navigate around the storm. And Rachel's last question is, what is the best way to avoid overcrowding unpopular places on board? I think what you mean is the best way to avoid crowds on board. Well, you'll have to look for little nooks and crannies on your ship that don't attract a huge amount of people. So generally that's going to mean avoiding the pools and the buffets. So those are the two places that run a little bit more crowded. Stay away from those and you should be fine. Next question today comes from Leo Love. Leo says, have you heard anything about the new Miami cruise terminal for Symphony of the Seas? Why, yes, Leo, we have. Very exciting. There are actually 2 new terminals that are being built right now in Miami. One of them is Royal Caribbean's Terminal A, which is going to be done in the fall and is going to be there for Symphony of the Seas and Allure of the Seas. $247 million project, you guys. That is a big one. So when Symphony of the Seas comes over from the Mediterranean, where it's spending the spring and summer right now, it will be hanging out there at that beautiful new terminal in Miami, which they're calling the Crown of Miami. Now, you may remember from our earlier news releases this year that Norwegian also has a new terminal that they are building in Miami. Very exciting. So that one is going to be there to facilitate Norwegian Encore, and that one's opening November 2019. So big stuff happening in Miami in a very, very busy place. Next question is from Bob Josephson. Bob said, did you find out about the 80s party before you left? We leave on Splendor next Friday. So what Bob is talking about is the theme night on one of our recent vlogs where we went to an 80s deck party. We are getting this question so much lately, and I'm really glad that Bob asked because we have kind of a general answer for all of you. If you're wondering what the theme nights will be on your cruise ship, there's a couple things you can do. You can Google theme nights, Carnival Splendor, theme nights, Symphony of the Seas, and see what pops up. And hopefully someone has posted that there. Or you can just go to the cruise line website. So in this case, go to carnival.com, go to the search area in the FAQ section or just on the main area and just type in theme nights. And usually they post their theme nights on those websites, so you can check them out. All right, next question today is from Laura Liu. She says, I'm very anxious about the airline or cruise line losing my luggage. I'm flying in the day before the ship departs, so I have a bit of a cushion, but what happens if your luggage gets lost and the ship has to depart before you're able to track it down? Is this a problem for cruisers, or am I just getting in my head on this one? Well, Laura Liu, we have the same fear, which is why we have now converted to carry-on only cruisers, because we're totally paranoid about it as well. Now, with that said, if your luggage does get lost, it really depends on how lost it is. Since you're flying in a day early, that helps the cruise line and the airline to investigate where your luggage is and do everything they can to get it to the ship. But let's just say it doesn't get to the ship. If it doesn't get to the ship, you hope that you have some essentials in your carry-on bag that can get you through at least the first few days of the cruise. Sometimes the airlines will do everything they can to get your luggage to that ship, even if it means flying it to one of the ports, but that is not always the case. There are stories out there of lost luggage. Usually if that happens, the cruise line will do what they can to give you some stuff for your cruise or to give you a budget to purchase things in the shop. Not always though. It depends on whether or not the cruise line is responsible for losing your luggage, if you booked your air through them, if it was their transfer that lost your luggage. There's a lot of variables here. So my advice to you is to strategically pack your carry-on bag so that anything that was really essential to you is in that bag, or consider going carry-on only if this is giving you a ton of anxiety. I would say statistically, not a lot of people's luggage gets lost on cruises though, bottom line. All right, our last question today is from DKDJ11. Something about seeing some room service thing in one of our videos said, why room service though, if the same foods are available for free or at the Lido restaurant? So why would you want to order room service on a cruise? Well, because You might want to eat in your room. You're not really always encouraged to take food from the buffet to your room. It's not that it's not allowed. Some lines don't allow it. They'll stop you right at the door. But some people just want to eat in their room. Maybe they don't want to get dressed. Maybe they want to watch television. Maybe they're tired. Or maybe all of the other dining venues are closed. On a cruise ship, Lido buffets do not always stay open all the time. In fact, many of them are closed for several hours between meals, and there are no other choices. So that's why people might want to do that. Hope that answers your question. Thank you all so very much for tuning in today to our vlog. This was really fun. We have a lot of really exciting things coming for you guys, and we will see you this Saturday, July 7th on our live stream. You need to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe and click the notifications bell. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye!
Cruiser of the Week!
Hey, click me to subscribe.